Are you a current or future physician assistant wanting to learn more about finances? Then join me on this journey to become a PA the FI way. Hi, my name is Kat, and I'm a practicing certified physician assistant who will be your host. It took me 5 years after I started practicing medicine as a PA to thoroughly dive into my personal finances after I discovered the concept of financial independence. I want to use what I have learned to help you avoid some of the financial mistakes that I have made while sharing some of the financial wins that I have had along the way. Join me as we discuss financial strategies to guide you to becoming a physician assistant on the way to financial independence. Welcome back, everyone, to the PA the FI Way podcast. I'm your host, Kat, and I'm really excited because we have another special guest on today's show. We have Ludi, and she is a PA that is also interested in financial independence. So welcome to the show, Ludi. We're really excited to have you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Ludi, and I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. We're super excited to have you. Ludi, can you please share a little bit more about yourself for the listeners, like what you do as a PA and the type of background that you think our listeners should know about you?
Okay. I'm Ludma. So my first job as a PA, I was a surgical PA, general surgery PA, but now recently I'm a breast surgery PA. So I mostly work with patients. I'm focused on breast and mostly with patients with breast cancer, but we also see different types of patients with breast pain, breast abscess, anything that relates to the breast, like we take care of it.
Sure.
And my job is 80% clinic and 30% or meaning like mastectomy, first assisting mastectomy and lumpectomies. And clinic, we see patient, again, like I said, with breast pain, abscess. We do incision and drainage, seroma drainage, and biopsies if needed as well.
Very cool. Very interesting. So how long have you been practicing as a PA then?
So I've been practicing for 2.5 years now as a PA.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure it went by fast, but it sounds like the majority of your practice has been during the pandemic, so that's kind of difficult.
Oh, yes. It was.
Well, can you share what you enjoy most about practicing in your specialty for the listeners?
One thing I enjoy a lot is working with an all-female staff. And I think that's really cool. I work with the breast surgeon or female, like the medical assistant, the nurse, the other, the NPs and the PAs, they're all female. I like that. And most of my patients, like 98% of my patients are female. And we have like here and there some male with breast cancer, but it's really minimal. I just really like working with women and seeing them in different stages of their life and being able to support them at different stage, and I find that really rewarding.
Very cool. It sounds like a very nice environment that you work in and that you kind of found your niche right now at least, and that's awesome to hear.
Yes, we can say that. Right now I did. Yeah.
Cool. So Ludi, you shared with me when we connected on Instagram that you have a pretty interesting background. So can you share that, where you're from originally and kind of share all that information with us?
Yes. I am from Haiti. I grew up in Haiti 17 years of my life. And in 2010, January 12, 2010, we had an earthquake. At that time, I was in high school. And I was there. And 3 weeks after that, I came to America on a visitor's visa because I used to come here in the summer. And that January, I literally made the decision for myself, and I told my mom, like, since we lost our house, we don't have anywhere to stay, and it makes sense if I go with my aunt for a couple months, and then I'll come back. And then she was okay. She was okay with everything, so I left Haiti on January 28th, 2010, and I came to New York City.
Okay. Interesting.
And in my mind, I thought I was going to be in New York City for 2 months, and then I'll be back to Haiti to finish high school and everything will go back to normal. But here am I, still here. I'm so happy about it, but yes.
Very interesting. I don't know if you guys who are listening have had the chance to listen to last week's podcast episode, but I had Alpha on the show too, and he was from Haiti as well. So it's really fun to meet two PAs that are originally from Haiti because both of you have seemed like you have a very interesting story and then are both into financial independence and just have a lot of interesting things to share with the listeners. So thank you for sharing all this stuff with us today. It's really interesting for sure.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And then, Ludi, how did you first learn about financial independence? And then what drew you to the FI community?
So when I was in PA school, I was budgeting on my iPhone Note app.
Sure.
And I was like, this is not, I think there's a better way for me to budget. Maybe there's an app, maybe there's something that I don't know about. And so I was just like Googling like budgeting app or budgeting sheet or budgeting something like a piece of paper or whatever. And I came across Reddit. And then on Reddit, I found this guy who posted a personal zero-based budget sheet.
Okay.
And under the comment on the budget sheet, he was also talking about fire, money mustache, and a bunch of blogs. And I was like, what is that? And when I put fire on Reddit, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. There's a whole population. There's a whole group of people out there who are doing that.
Right.
And then some people have been doing it for the longest, and I was just so shocked. So Reddit is where I like learned about fire.
Nice.
The rabbit hole of fire on Reddit.
That's super cool. Very cool. And so what do you feel like drew you to the FIRE community then once you learned about it?
I think freedom.
Sure.
Basically being able, these people, they were able to kind of like leave their workspace, being in a position to be able to leave the workspace and to do the things that makes them feel elevated in life.
Yeah.
Things that they feel like that they should pursue and how they should live and the way they raise their children. And I just feel like these people probably felt lighter, not being constricted to a specific workplace to be in a certain way. So that was like, I was like, I want to be like that. That was that I was drew into like the fire community. And I was just like, okay, how do I calculate? I wasn't working yet. So I was like, how do I calculate? Like, how do I figure this thing out? And I was like, once I get a job, I'm going to figure it out, find my fire number. And that's what's going to happen to me.
Nice. Very cool. And Ludi, I'm really sorry to hear about how you lost your home when you were young. I think that sounds, pretty traumatic experience to go through. But could you share how, that experience kind of turned into moving to America and then how your journey to PA school was different than most?
Yes. So when I moved here, my mom always said the only thing that you truly have in life is what's in your mind. So when I first got here, I was like, okay, how do I get into school? Like after like 3 months of being here and still I can't go back to my country, things are still the same. We still didn't have our house and she was figuring things out for her.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, I need to find a way, like very naive, like on a visitor's visa, trying to find a way to go to college in America.
Yeah.
And I found this woman. She was a college advisor at a CUNY school in New York. And she spoke to me and then she was like, okay, I can help you. She helped me apply to college and actually got in. And I didn't know. I was like, okay, so now I'm in college. I didn't know I have to pay for this.
Sure.
So, but thank God my mom and my dad, they were able to help me to pay for college. For like the first year was really tough. And I applied for student visa. So I switched from a visitor visa to an F1 status student visa.
Sure. And
after like a year of being in America, they granted Haitian citizens what they call the TPS. It's a temporary protected status, which allows you, it's like a temporary resident where you stay in America for 18 months, which you renew every 18 months. So with that, I was able to have an in-state tuition,
okay,
which was amazing.
Nice.
So I was able to kind of like stay here and afford to pay to go to college.
Awesome.
And after college, I was like, I didn't know what to do because I was like, okay, my parents are not going to be able to help me anymore. and I have to get a job. Even though I had other plans, I wanted to do different things, but I was like, okay, I still have to be realistic. And I decided, okay, I'm going to apply for jobs, and I got a job. At the same time, all of this is happening. I was volunteering at a pharmacy. I was volunteering at a doctor's office because I was still trying to figure out what is my next step,
Sure.
even though I don't know exactly what it is. Somehow, somewhere, something will happen.
Yeah.
And at the doctor's office, I remember he was telling me, why don't you apply to PA school? Since you already have your hours and you already have everything, because my major was pharmaceutical science with a chemistry focus. And he was like, you should apply to PA school. And one of my friends was already in PA school. So I messaged him. I was like, hey, I work for this doctor, and he told me I think you should apply to PA school because I work in his office and my interaction, everything. What do you think about it? And he was like, yeah, you should definitely do that. I definitely see you as a PA. I was like, okay. So from that conversation with him, and I was like, okay, let me just research more about PAs. And then I realized I was like, okay, wow. So how am I going to get into PA school? Because I feel like I'm pretty close to the deadline. And my friend was just like, just apply. You don't know, just apply. And if that doesn't happen, then whatever happens, happens. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna apply to PA school. And if that doesn't happen, I get a job, I save some money, and I'll reapply another time. If not, I'll have money to just go travel.
Yeah.
So I only applied to one PA school.
Wow.
And the same time I applied to PA school, I got a job, December 28th. And I didn't know if I was going to get accepted. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to work. So I decided to take the job. I started working. And around May, I think 5 or 6 months of me working, I got a call that I have an interview to get into PA school.
Awesome.
Around that time, I was saving every penny that I have from income tax from my work. I'm like, it's either I go to PA school, I travel to South Africa. That was my dream.
Sure.
And when I went to the interview, I was nervous, very nervous. But everything went well. I think like a month after that, I got the call and the email that I got accepted to PA school.
Awesome. Congrats.
And I was just, thanks. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And at the same time, I was like, it was a happy moment, but at the same time, I was like, okay, so how am I going to pay for PA school?
Sure.
I get accepted, like, how am I going to pay? So I was asking around, like, my family member and friends to see if I can co-sign for a loan. But because of my immigration status, not many people were comfortable to have to co-sign me for a loan, which I understand because things change every day with politics. So I was like, okay, so I have some money saved. I'm going to use that for whatever time it will last me, and then I'll figure it out. I remember I was speaking to one of my friends, and then he was like, just go, just do it, and whatever happens, happens next. And that's literally what I just did. I had approximately $20-something thousand saved.
That's impressive.
And I paid for like a year and a half of PA school, and the second half, my family, my dad kind of helped, and I used my credit card for the rest.
Wow.
I had a $13,000 credit line. I was like, okay, I'll just pay the rest with the credit line, and for sure after that, I'll get a job and figure life out.
That's amazing. So then, to clarify, it sounds like you didn't graduate with any student loans from PA school. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Wow, congrats on that. That's a huge feat for sure. Most PAs, as I'm sure you're aware, graduate with, 6 figures of student loan debt. So that's amazing that you're able to start off at broke, so to speak, at zero, or, maybe a little bit with a credit card debt, but honestly, not having 6 figures of student loan debt, that's amazing. So that's very cool. Thank you for sharing that. All right, Ludi. Well, your story for getting into PA school is certainly amazing. I think that it just shows, kind of like your mom said, what is in your mind can, really you can project that into the world and kind of make life happen. So that was really cool that you were tenacious and kept working at volunteering or working and kind of set yourself up to kind of look for the next step in your life. And then you ended up working with this doctor who, really encouraged you to go to PA school, and you had a friend already in PA school. So it really sounds like that everything aligned for you and that it really worked out. So I think that your story is really wonderful. And then, Ludi, why do you think that it's important for current and future PAs to pursue financial independence?
I think it's important because one, just knowing about financial independence will help you with your personal finance lifestyle. Because a lot, like you say, a lot of PA they're done when they're done with PA school, they have a lot of debt and they get a job and now they start making six figure and above, and they have to pay their student loan and also they have a lifestyle as well. So knowing about financial independence, putting yourself in a situation where you have the knowledge, you know what to do, you know what's the next step to propel yourself in a better financial state instead of just going, paying off your student loan and living above your means and doing all these things, but learning about there's people out there who do this exact thing and this is what they get to where they get to be in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I think that it is so hard to find that balance as a new PA when you graduate with a lot of student loan debt, or even if you don't and you're just not used to making, at least close to a six-figure income or perhaps more, depending upon what you start making right out of PA school. But it's really hard to find that balance between wanting to pay off debt and then also trying to start your life. There's lots of big expenses that can happen right after PA school, especially if you let lifestyle creep happen. So it's important to try your best to really prioritize your expenses right after PA school and throughout your life. So I think that's really good advice that you had. And then why are you personally pursuing financial independence? What is your why of FI, Ludi?
It's so besides from being a PA, I do other things. Like I enjoy sewing and I enjoy creating organizational stuff. And I feel like having the freedom, being in a position where you are well financially, you have the freedom to pursue these things freely and to be able to travel as well too, and to be able to spend time with my family, my mom and my cousins who still lives in Haiti, and my dad, being able to spend that time with loved ones. So that's amazing. And maybe in the future, I'll have kids because I'm married, and being able to be there for them.
Yeah, definitely. I think that family is one of the most important things in life. So it's great that you're able to try to set yourself up to spend more time with your family who are still in Haiti. And then, like you said, your future family as well. So that's really exciting. And then, Ludi, you've also shared with me that you're working on some projects. Can you share with the listeners the different projects that you're working on and what also made you want to create the projects that you're working on?
Okay. One of them, it's already done. I created a gratitude planner, a 2022 gratitude planner.
Cool.
It's on sale on Amazon. The reason why I created this is sometimes I don't know how to manage my time. I have time fallacy. And also sometimes I'm very hard on myself. I created it to kind of center myself, to kind of help me on the day to day to realize everything is okay, and to plan, being able to plan a whole year, being able to plan towards things that you want, not only things, but towards the feeling that you want when you get these things. So that's the reason why I created this gratitude planner, to help people to not only have goals, but to have action steps and to follow it through to seeing it going live basically throughout the whole year. And the second thing that I'm working on is a children's book,
Cool.
and it's around the delayed gratification concept,
Sure.
but I'm using farming to explain that. So I'm gonna have a Kickstarter where I raise funds for it, And I just can't wait to have that out there because it's really cute.
Yeah.
And I just can't wait to share with people. And the last thing that I'm working on is I actually am done with the step. It's just putting it together. It's a free guide for after PAs graduated and what to expect, basically. Because when I graduated, I was like, okay, I'm done. And then they're like, oh, this is, you're not done. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be
Totally,
done.
completely.
So I created like this free guide that explained, okay, now you're a PAC, what's next? So you get a job, what is credentialing, what are the license that you have to apply for, and when you get that job, what to expect and how to negotiate. And if you can't negotiate, what do you do? So basically, it outlined all these things and will help any PAs graduating, passing their boards, getting their first job.
Nice, nice. Those sound like 3 amazing resources. I really like the idea of the gratitude journal, and I'll make sure to include the link in the show notes for everyone to check that out on Amazon for sure. And then it's really exciting that you're writing a children's book. It sounds like that it's been a fun project for you and that you're able to use different concepts to try to explain planting the seeds, so to speak, I guess is a kind of a corny analogy there, but planting the seeds of how to teach those young kiddos about finances when they are so young. Because if you can teach them young, then they can be set up for success down the road. And then that free guide, it certainly sounds very interesting for brand new PAs. So thank you for sharing all that information and the projects that you're working on for sure. Ludi, can you now share where the listeners can find you to connect with questions, or if they are interested in, trying to follow along for you to get that free guide once it's out there, and just try to see if they can keep in touch for you over the years?
So I am on Instagram, truly Ludi, and also I have a blog, trulyludi.com. And on my Instagram page, I have like a link where with all free resources, which I post them on Gumroad, where I have budget sheets and other things that they will find helpful.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. I think that they sound like wonderful resources. So I'm really excited that our listeners can touch base with you and get connected. Thank you. And then thank you so much, Ludi, too, for joining and sharing your story. I think that it was incredibly inspirational and there was lots of good information in there. Are there any other topics or any other pieces of advice that you feel like we haven't covered yet to share with the listeners today?
My piece of advice is like based from what I've went through from my story. My advice is to follow your gut. And if you want to do something, just start with one action, because that one action will act like a domino effect towards your life.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's great. Like you said, you don't always have to know all of the answers, but just taking action and not getting stuck in analysis paralysis, so to speak, where you just keep thinking about all the possible situations can really help you down the road. So wonderful. Thank you. Well, thanks again, Ludi. It was really fun. It was a really fun chat, and I really appreciate you taking the time to join me today.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you decide to continue to join me along this journey of becoming a PA the FI way. Please take a moment to press the subscribe button on the platform that you are listening to this on, but more importantly, consider sharing with another current or future PA that could benefit from the information that we reviewed in this episode. Take care and have a great rest of your day. Until next time.